part of the problem is salespeople or business owners don't have a script. They don't have a script for the sale. This is the number one mistake they make when it comes to selling. They don't have a script for the sale itself, and they don't have a kind of choreographed process to get them to that point where they're delivering the script. Now, my view is always about quid pro quo, which sounds very mercenary, but it's not at all. It's like if I'm in every stage of our sales process, I give you something of value, and even like webinars, emails, like tonight's event and things, or last night's event. Well, by the time they read this, it will be last night. That gives people value. So if I'm giving something like that, if people want to get on the phone with me, say, well, I want something from you in return. Now, that's not necessarily money. It might be a promise to take the next step if I answer your question satisfactorily.
Yeah.
So for instance, if you're, this is a concrete example that any subby can relate to. Say you're selling kitchens, and the woman of the house is the one who makes the choice, but ultimately it's down to the bloke because he probably signs the check at the end of the day. So really, you want both of them there whenever you do any kind of sales presentation. Yeah. I've never sold a kitchen, so maybe I'm missing a couple of details here, but for the most part, the important meetings will require both of them to be there.
Yeah.
Especially pre-sale. After the sale, maybe not, but certainly before the sale, the important ones are where both of them are there. So you should have a rule that says, whenever we have an important meeting or conversation, both parties must be there. If they're not, we don't have it.
Yeah.
Well, that's quid pro quo. You're giving them something of value. If you weren't, they wouldn't be asking for it. And they must give you something of value in return. And that is their participation. So phone calls, meetings, the decision maker must be there. And when you're setting up these meetings, you make it clear, both of you must be there. If you're not, we can't have it. And if you turn up and Mr. Bloggs has gone out, then you say, well, okay, we'll reschedule it. And you don't just go ahead because all you're doing, this isn't just being mercenary or awkward. There's a good reason for this. Imagine you're selling a kitchen and you need both of them to have buy-in to what you're selling. If you just deliver your pitch to one of them and you're selling at a premium price, you will then have the script I mentioned. You have it's not a verbatim script, but it's a framework you use to structure your conversation with the lady of the house or the man of the house, whoever makes the decision. If you do that once, and so you're selling a 5K kitchen for 10K, or you're selling a 20K kitchen, high-end kitchen, which requires some selling. If you just deliver it to the missus and she says, yeah, I'll speak to my husband when he gets in, she cannot possibly deliver the same pitch you have done in the same way. She can't answer the questions. So at some point, well, one of the two things will happen. Either you lose it completely, he'll just say, I'm not paying that for a fucking kitchen. Next year maybe, or we'll go somewhere cheaper. End of story. Or would you come back and speak to my husband when he's in? Because he didn't really get it and I couldn't explain it very well. Either way, you've wasted your fucking time, so don't do it. But of course, this fear of losing the sale stops business owners, especially subcontractors and tradesmen, from doing this.
I'm going to make